All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So wanted to take a quick look at Lunar, and I wish I was looking here sooner, and I know that the Discord was talking about it, but man, sometimes so many stocks come my way, I just completely missed some really good ones, and yeah, unfortunately that was mine here, but hopefully you did make some good money here, all right? I will very much say when something as loud as a moon landing, which is covered, throughout, regardless if you're looking at a financial news thing or not, right? But like the news was crazy. The news had a lot of coverage. The news brought a lot of volume to a stock that's never, ever, ever, ever seen anything like this, all right? So if you watch my videos, I always say, look, I know this thing's on the bottom, but volume is king. Volume is queen for my ladies out there, and I'm telling you, that's what it looks like to me, all right? So Lunar, bad things have now obviously happened. You can see that these lines are pretty good lines too. I was covering these for people in the Discord. That's why I have them there. But yeah, excited to talk about just what's gonna come next. And to me, it's gonna be all about the 20 and the 200. All right. So before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we gonna do? Same thing we always do, right? We take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here and giving me your time is super appreciated. Sorry, I had to do one thing real quick. Okay, so coming into Lunar, again, I want to start with saying when a stock is connected to an insane amount of TV coverage, amazing things will happen, all right? That's the exact reason why I was looking at DWAC, religiously, right? Like when Trump is about to get in front of the TV, good things happen to this stock, right? And Lunar had a lot of that going on, had the world mesmerized at what was the first landing and whatever, how long it was. I think they said it was the first private. There was so much like good, right? And even if it's bad, like bad news and bad publicity, that does its own like volume things, which I'm still okay to trade. But when it's good news, when it brings the nation together, when it takes people back to like childhood dreams of the moon and astronauts and this and that, come on, right? Like it makes sense that it's gonna do. Look, is it justified? Did it deserve to do it? No. But when volume, again, I'm zooming out. This is not a stock that's been alive for a long time. My lines go longer than the stock's been alive for. But when volume is beyond, and I mean beyond, right? Like let's just draw a line at what looks like the biggest volume day back in the day was this one. And you can tell I'm a little higher on it, right? I'm not exactly on it. At least most of those days destroyed that single one. Even those two probably did as well, right? So when volume is next level to what a stock is used to, that's what's going to propel something up, and when you're pushing millions on millions on millions per day, oh man, that's going to propel things up. All right, if you watch my videos, the one common theme is, look, good things happen over the 8 and the 20. All right, you find a stock that likes the line and it just bounces up and goes. But then once you lose the 8, you kind of have to start to get worried. Okay, now I actually like the fact that we held 50% of this 215 candle. I'm glad we held half of it, because again, I never want to see a candle destroy. Like, look at this thing, right? We obviously start up here, but we end the day basically eating the entire candle before it, right? And that's never a good thing, and you can see what ends up coming after that, right? So I'm glad that wasn't the case here, okay? But nonetheless, I'm happy, I'm bullish, I'm whatever word you want to use, as long as we're over both the 8 and the 20, okay? And don't like seeing the loss of the 8. That's never a good thing. And we actually opened under it. So it should have made a lot of sense that we just kind of kept coming down and down, right? Like there was never a moment where we even thought we were going to go back over the 8, right? But as it sits right now, we're still over the 20. I'm glad, like I said, we didn't like lose more than half of this, but I'll be honest, it makes me believe we're coming down to the 20, sitting here at 560, 555, if not just a little bit lower at the 200 moving average. All right, I'm going to talk about the 200 moving average really in a second, but that's not a good RSI at all, right? It was obviously super, super high. It was pushing a 92. It's now come back down to a 58. And hey, it might even come down a little bit lower to about 30. Because just as I look at it, we're actually in this little level more. That's a 26 right there. But I think there's still a little bit more for this thing to come down on the RSI. I'm not really liking the MACD too much, but hey, at least we're positive. At least we still have green over red. But I'm kind of assuming it's going to look like this soon. All right. Now let's come back up to the 200 moving average. All right. So I'm zooming out. I'm zooming out. I'm zooming out. So 200 moving average. It looks like we had one good moment right here where we were able to like make a good pop bounce, but that's basically a pump and dump for lack of words, right? So that little moment aside, once this 200 moving average was created, we've basically been completely under it. We lose it like a hot knife through butter and we just fall well below that line, all right? What happens afterwards is we get one good candle. Doji doesn't count. I'll call that a good candle. That's not confirmation. And clearly from there, we never had anything, right? We never had two good back-to-back confirmation candles behind or over the 200. I'm still here, not sure if we've broken the 200. That's why I talked about, hey, we might come down to 520, all right? Now, if we lose 520, it might be a really fast drop all the way down to the 50 moving average sitting right here around 375, 380. Okay, maybe this like half candle right here around 430 will save it, just like we saw today with this half candle. I would roughly say those are about the same, right? That said, I think losing the 200 would probably drop it, make this a little insignificant, and yeah, I could see a 375. So it's critical. It is critical. We never go below 520 for sure. For sure, I would be real scared if this goes below 499. You can see that was the close of this big candle that I'm clicking on right here on the 9th of February. So I'm hearing mixed stuff. I can't really tell if there was earnings on this stock or not. I believe they said the mission officially ends on Tuesday. I think there's a mix of buy the rumor, sell the news, right? Like as the rocket went up, I'm sure people thought it might have just blown up right before, right? Kept going higher. It still could have malfunctioned, kept going higher, It made it, right? After it made it, what's next? And that what next, I think, is what scared people and I think is what fell. Otherwise, if this thing gives another little hint about, the next mission, I think that could do some amazing things. And then just talking technically, hey, this 520 point could be a very, very strong point that bounces us back up just like we saw right here, all right? There is a lot of green, red. So if we get a good bounce, we might try to retest. Maybe let's call it this. Maybe we'll try to retest like $8. You can see that the average 8 is sitting around like 790-ish, right? So, excuse me, a little hiccup. The one thing I want to note is volume, because there's this like little interesting pattern in volume I'm seeing. I'm seeing a couple good days, about a 50% drop, a couple good days, 50% drop. We've now got a good day and a 50% drop. I don't know if we're going to see maybe another like lackluster day and then again, boom, another pop. That might kind of correlate with my come to the 200 and pop up, right? But this thing does seem to be able to bounce back after a couple bad days of volume. But again, there was a mission that was happening, right? That's not happening right now. So it might not necessarily be an apples to apples comparison, all right? And clearly, as the green ones were going up, obviously with today's red, the reds are also going up in terms of volume, right? So I'm still seeing more people holding this than selling, right? That's something I try. Like these 3 days are more than those two selling, so more holding. These 3 days seem like more than those two, so more holding, and this day was more than that one, so more holding than selling amongst these, but if we lose that 200, I can see the sell-off being bad. Because just look between these two lines, green, 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 red, 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 right? So I don't think we need to look at the weekly. I do think it's all about that. Oh, look at this. I think it almost kind of says the same thing. Um, what are you at? You're at 580. What are you at? You're at five, basically 580 and five. All right, where were those? That's 560, and then I mean five is basically there. I even talked about 499, right? So I will say this, from the weekly, I would be very scared once again to lose this 496. Okay, I said on the daily I'd be scared to lose 499. I think once you hit 499, it's going to accelerate to 496, and then that's what's going to propel it to this. We cannot, one more time, this cannot go below 520. For sure the panic increases as you're approaching five or less. All right, let me know your thoughts, let me know your opinions. Even if you disagree, I appreciate you so much.